Hello, in this video I'm going to show you some of the safety features of the Ruger SR9 in case you're considering purchasing it. Now this is the SR9, not the SR9C, which is the compact one with a shorter grip and a shorter barrel. This is the SR9. They also have a longer one with a 5-inch barrel. This is the 4-inch barrel. So let's safety check it first before we get into this. This is an empty magazine, and we'll lock it back, and that's done by pushing the slide back and sliding up the slide lock into the little notch there. And we can see that there's no round in the barrel, nothing in here. So the gun is safe and clear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in some snap caps. These are rubber tipped bullets. This is a brass cartridge or aluminum or something like that. It's kind of cheap cartridge. And there's no gunpowder, there's no primer in here, there's nothing that's going to go off. It's just made to simulate a round so you can run it through a weapon for demonstration purposes like we're going to do now. There's a couple of different models, I forgot what this is, and there's another one that is sort of maroon colored all the way through. Look them up on YouTube, snap caps. You'll see some videos about it. Some people have different opinions as which ones are better. I think it really depends on your weapon and your personal preference. So I'm going to load a couple of these in, and we have, with Ruger comes a little loader here that helps you get your rounds in faster and easier because the spring that holds these clips in is pretty tight, particularly if you get all 10 rounds in, or if you happen to live in one of the beautiful states that allow you 15 or 17 or more rounds. That spring is pretty tight down there. So I've got 5 snap caps in here, no real bullets, nothing in here. So let's talk about some of the safety features of the SR9. From top to bottom, we have a loaded round indicator on here. So when there's a round in the chamber, in other words, there's a bullet in the barrel ready to fire, this lever comes up and it's red on both sides, so you can see it. Tells you there's a live round in there. You can feel it. If it was dark, you could just put your finger up there and feel it and know that there's a live round in there. Furthermore, on the back there's a cocked indicator. So not only is the live round, is there a bullet in there, a round in the chamber, but the chamber is cocked, and that's indicated by this little black plunger that sticks out, and when it's fired that goes in, and I'll show you that in a second. So let's go ahead and just unload it. I just popped this one out. Again, there's nothing in there, but the gun is still cocked. There's no bullet in there. There's a round in the chamber. I took it out, but there's still a round in there. It's still cocked, so it could fire. So had there been a bullet in there, it might fire. Now let's show you what this looks like. When this fires, you'll see this sort of disappear and go further in there. Hopefully the focus will hold on it. Let's show that. Ready? And boom. And you saw it disappear. Okay, when it's cocked, you'll see that come back. And that's visible now. And when we fire, that goes away. So that's a little indicator that, okay, I have not only a round in the gun, but it's cocked and ready to shoot. And it could be either or both of those things. So let's put the mag back in. I'll show you also, this has a manual safety. Now, since it's not cocked at this point, safety isn't going to work. There's no need for it. You can't shoot it. But when we load a round in the chamber, so the loaded chamber indicator's up, it's cocked, and we also have the ability to put the safety on. It's ambidextrous, it's on both sides. There's also an ambidextrous magazine release, which is the button here and here, which drops your magazine. That's on both sides, so the gun is somewhat ambidextrous, meaning you can use it with either hand. I did notice, however, that even though it looks pretty symmetrical, it is weighted a little bit heavier, leaning towards the right, and maybe that's to do with how the right-handed shooter shoots. I'm not sure exactly, but I've noticed when I set it down it sort of tips a little bit like this, as if there's a little heavy weight in the top. So we now have our safety on. Can't shoot it. Can't even pull the trigger back with the safety. Furthermore, there's a safety mechanism on the trigger, so that even if this safety was off and this gun were to drop, and this has been a problem with some weapons in the past, a very rare circumstance where the weapon drops, or you've seen it in movies, somebody drops the gun, bullet fires out of it because the force of it hits just the right way and releases the firing pin and to the cartridge, and the bullet flies out of there. So with this little mechanism, that's to prevent that. Alright, so we got 1 safety, 2 safeties, 3 safeties, 4 safety mechanisms, but wait, there's even more. Now here's an interesting feature specific to the Ruger SR9, and I know the Glocks don't have this, the Springfield doesn't have this yet. Maybe they will in the future, I'm not sure, but right now the SR9 has this feature, and that is when you drop the magazine. So right now, again, we have a loaded round in there. That's a snap cap, but could be a round in there. It's cocked. If we were to drop the magazine, at this point, the gun is inert. Whether or not you have the safety on, safety off, if you pull the trigger, if the safety's on, you can't do anything. If the safety's off, and you can pull the trigger, and it will click. But if there's a live round in there, it will not fire. Now, don't try this and aim it at anybody. Do this at a range just to confirm it. But it has a mag release safety on there. So even though I can fire it, theoretically, I can decock it by pulling the trigger, the bullet will not fire because there's a striker block in there that will keep the striker from hitting the bullet as long as the magazine is out. It can only fire when there's a magazine in there. Now I just dropped pulled another snap cap out of there. That makes 2. We started with 5. So once again, we have a round in there. It's cocked. Safety's on. Suppose somebody gets it from you. You get into some kind of fight and they're trying to steal it from you. If you can, with either hand, drop the magazine and they get the gun away from you and point it at you. First of all, if you had the safety on and you were smart enough, they'd be pulling the trigger and wouldn't know what to do. Then they drop the safety, they shoot, pull the trigger, and nothing happens because you say, buddy, you need this. This is kind of like the key that starts the car. Without this, no go. Which is kind of a cool feature. So if you were in some kind of struggle and they got your weapon away and you were able to get this magazine out during the struggle, you basically render this inert. They cannot turn the weapon on you. Whereas with other weapons that don't have this feature, even if this drops out, there's a live round in the chamber. This is how a lot of people kill themselves and get hurt. A lot of kids get hurt when they get the gun. And people, you always hear the stories, he shot himself while he was cleaning the gun. That's what happens. They drop the magazine out, they think, all the bullets are out. They don't realize there's one in the chamber, and they pull the trigger, and somebody down range gets shot. Not cool. Right, let's drop the third one out. So those are some of the safety features of the Ruger SR9. A really nice, good gun. Very reliable, very well built. Wonderful feel to it, great ergonomics. I mean, just everybody who picks it up, even Glock lovers, all universally, even though they'll say, well, I'll never give up my Glock, they pick this up and they go, this is a nice gun. And they shoot with it, and many of them say, well, I shoot better with this than with my Glock. I'll never give up my Glock, but I shoot better with this. So if you're a Glock lover, stick with the Glock. If you have a Springfield XD, Smith & Wesson M&P, those are great guns too, Beretta, H&K, etc. But if you're looking for a gun and you're on the market for one with a lot of nice safety features, again, this, don't leave this lying around and think, oh, it's got all these safety features. A kid can't pick it up and hurt themselves. They can. It's just as dangerous and deadly as any other weapon, and all these things, safety features, can easily be defeated by any child or anybody. used in the right way, it can thwart other people from being able to use it or slow them down if they're trying to use it against you. Again, some of these safety features can render it immediately inert. Doesn't mean it's safe, it just means it's not going to fire at you at that moment, and you can get away. But all in all, a well-built gun with a lot of safety features. Again, some people don't want those. If you're in law enforcement and you have a weapon in a level 3 holster, nobody can get it out, you want to be able to pull that thing out and, you know, fire it off and not have to worry about any safety features. This is not the weapon for you, although you can, you know, turn off all these things. You don't need to put the safety on at any one time. You don't need to have these things on there. But for those who want extra levels of safety built into the gun, this is a wonderful gun. It shoots really nicely. It's very smooth, very low recoil. Just a nice gun, easy to take apart and clean. Well built, well shoot. Everybody likes them. I highly recommend the Ruger SR9 if you're looking for your first semi-automatic handgun. You really can't go wrong with this gun. Also comes in a 45, a 40 caliber, but the 9 is, if you're just getting started, it's a very nice weapon to shoot because it doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. The 40 has a harder, of course the 45 is even harder. The 9 is a nice smooth weapon. Women can fire this very easily, as well as men or small people. It's all great. It has a Picatinny rail mount on the bottom as well, so if you wanted to mount a laser on there or a flashlight on there, you can do that as well. Just put it right on. That's all fit on there, and other models don't have those kinds of things. So it's got adjustable sights. People really like these white dot sights. They're quite accurate. They're adjustable here in the back very easily. A lot of great safety features. Nice little weapon. Thank you for watching the video. Good shooting.